This is not the video I thought I would be making. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka Mercy Triumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. This is the final installment, at least as far as I know for the time that I am in. So yes, don't worry, there's nothing bad happening, but this is my video of kind of saying goodbye. Well, not kind of, actually. I'm actually saying goodbye. I have come to the conclusion in the last 24 hours that I think it's time. Before I do that, though, I do want to acknowledge a couple of people. Number one, I want to acknowledge Robin, the beautiful friend of the channel who did participate in the hashtag Autumn Garland Cal. Her beautiful garland is right here. Isn't it adorable? I just love the elements that she chose. She really worked hard and was so encouraging, and I really appreciate that. The other thing that I want to acknowledge is the wonderful friends Cassandra, Miss Pamela, and Lee, and their Nautical November crochet along that they have ongoing. I did make a couple of things for that. Number one, I made this fun little guy, this shark by Complicated Knots. If you are interested in small little amigurumis or even big ones, Complicated Knots is one of my favorite tutorial channels. They are very approachable. Kylie over there is just wonderful and so creative in the way that she sculpts yarn into making these different forms. So this was one of them from, I think, one of her Christmas series. She'll be doing another one this year. I believe she's in the process of working on that. So anyway, love the little shark to go with our nautical theme. And the other, I wanted to make a nice little pirate Polly, Dolly, Molly, Jolly? One of the parrots that goes along with the poem that have inspired my 3 YouTube friends. And this is also a Complicated Knots pattern. Love, love, love how she came out, he came out. Doesn't really have a name right now. Maybe it's Polly. We'll just stick with Polly. My children have already claimed these, but just on a quick note, they are made out of Red Heart Retro Stripe, and I thought those would be really fun together. So those are my contributions, my little bits here at the end, which when I was making them, I didn't think that this would be the end. Let me tell you the story, shortened version, of course, of why I came to the decision I came to. The easiest way to say it is that my time, I'm realizing, is the most valuable thing I have right now. And when I have free time, there's not a lot of it to go around. So how I use that free time is of the utmost importance. As you can imagine, filming videos, editing videos, uploading videos, those all take creative energy, even planning those videos. If I am filming or editing or uploading, what am I not doing? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And I was finding myself a little bit in a slump. You probably wouldn't have noticed it. I might have referenced it a little bit, but these small things kind of can make a big difference. And I was realizing that I was feeling very stretched. There were some things that I wanted to do, like in the world of yarn, that I was waiting to do because I wanted to make sure I could film. But then the opportunity to film just wasn't happening because of life being what it is. I'm a mom, I homeschool, there's a lot going on in the family. But I realized that filming for YouTube was actually keeping me from doing what I wanted to do. You might notice back here a little bit, I've kind of changed my stash. I've organized a little bit more, and I did end up doing some yarn storage things, and I had a lot of that filmed, but I had put off doing that. And in the interim, I was just feeling like, oh, why am I making my choices based on a filming schedule, which might or might not really bring the fruit that I want it to bring? I was realizing that I had allowed YouTube to almost become a master of what I was choosing. And I wasn't actually being true to who I am and what I'm about. I was letting someone else make my decisions for me. And that someone else is the nebulous algorithm of YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love having this channel. It has been such a joy to learn and grow, to interact with y'all, to connect with other YouTubers, to really push myself outside my comfort zone, to be held accountable to finishing things because I knew I'd be presenting them to camera in a couple of days. So I did want to actually have things finished. It's been a joy that has brought me to different yarn shops I never would have visited otherwise, trying out different different fibers and techniques, really pressing in and growing in ways I never thought I could. So in that sense, I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful that I've been a part of your life, or that you've allowed me in, and you've allowed me this grace to grow in this medium, not only in crochet, but also in filming and editing, all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. There's a learning curve there, and so many people have been so incredibly supportive along the way. So big takeaway is, number one, nothing big and ugly has happened. There's no big tragedy, there's no illness, there's no sadness, there's no trauma, there's been nothing ugly in the comments, nothing of that. Simply realizing, though, that sometimes good is the enemy of better. And sometimes when that season shifts, I've found that I need to move on it right away. It's almost like the page has turned and now we're in a new chapter. And I don't know what this next chapter is going to be, but I don't want to hold on to what was, that I don't have my hands open for what is to come. So that's why I'm here making this video now. I was up last night pondering through how I was going to communicate with y'all about it, because it is really out of the blue, and it really surprised me when the thought occurred, and literally 24 hours ago or less. But you know, sometimes when something drops into your mind and it just settles into your heart and you go, yeah, that's true. That's accurate. That's what needs to happen right now. And all of a sudden, in making that decision, there's just this freedom that comes. And so part of that process, when I was organizing my yarn and I was trying to film some of that, but I was realizing, there's a lot of things I want to just let go of. There's some approaches, there's some things that I've learned over time that it's not who I am anymore. And I'm so thankful that I've had this channel. I've had y'all's support. I've had friends to talk to and relationships to grow. That's helped me in that creative journey and in this process of self-discovery. When we create, we put part of our hearts out there, right? And so in a lot of ways, when we're making something, we visually see our hearts right there in our hands in what we're making. So it can be this wonderful experience of self-discovery. What do I like? What do I value? What looks good on me? What am I willing to do or learn or not do and learn? All that kind of stuff. What am I willing to communicate with others? And what does it say about me? How bold do I want to be? How gentle do I want to be? Who am I really deep in my heart? What do I feel about my life? All these kinds of things can come up and out of us as we create. And as we're looking at what does our creativity actually reveal about ourselves? All that to say, yes, it's been a wonderful process and such a delightful journey. And in that sense, I feel like I've said everything that I want to say here. I'm so thankful to everyone who's been receptive of what I've put out there. My heart in this whole channel is to create the kind of content that I would want to watch. And so that will tell you something about me, maybe. But ultimately, my heart was to put something out there that's valuable to people, that they could enjoy, and that would make them feel seen and loved and appreciated. And also just something fun to have in the background while you're working on your own projects. Just someone to connect with that thinks really highly of you, that sees the best in you, but also just really loves the craft of crochet. So to everyone who has been with me on this journey, everyone who's been incredibly encouraging, y'all, I say similar things in the comments when I respond to y'all. I call you dear heart. I call you dear friend. I call you precious. I call you all these different things, but it's because I appreciate you, and you are dear, you are wonderful, you are beautiful. And the fact that you would take some time out of your day to not only engage with me, but also to leave me a comment or anything like that, it really does mean the world, because it's you reaching out. It's a way for us to connect, and it's building that connection, building that relationship. And I don't take that for granted. So no tears, no sadness. We are going from glory to glory, you might say. We're taking something good and laying it down and seeing what's next in the adventure. Those of you who know me in my real life, I do have a few friends that we hang out on occasion if we can. Those of you who are really in my life, you know I've done this in the past. I've started something and there's been a season for it, and then the season closes and then you move on to the next, and you don't know what that adventure is going to be, but you know it's going to be good. So thank you for being part of this YouTubey, webby, interwebs adventure with me. It has been such a tremendous joy. And if I'm not your cup of tea, And to all of you who I am your cup of tea, thank you for having grace for me and understanding. Sometimes things just come to an end. So here we are. Thank you for listening this long. I really do appreciate you, and I don't know when I'll see you again, but hopefully we'll cross paths